y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Patty for those of you who do not know, and today we're going to talk about friends and how it is so hard and challenging to make friends as adults. This is specific to Charlotte in that I will have Charlotte resources and social clubs and things like that listed down in the description box, but it is pretty applicable across the board regardless of where you live, and we're going to hop right on into it. But just to give you a little bit of background, I up and relocated to Charlotte a little over a year ago, almost a year and a half ago, and I already have friends. I met them, bonded with them pretty quickly. It's same as when I moved to the DC area after college. I also made friends and it didn't take me a long time. So I'm going to teach you some of the methods that I've used and hope that it will help you too. So the first thing that I'm going to suggest to you is find social clubs in your city, y'all. Social clubs are like my favorite thing to do, and it's actually how I met my friends I have here in Charlotte. There are social clubs for so many different interests, y'all. There are social clubs here in Charlotte for people who like to drink bourbon, for people who like to try new restaurants, for people who love to create content, for women who like to network or in that corporate environment and just want to, you know, be able to let their hair down and relax and have fun. There are golf social clubs. I mean, there are just so many different social clubs in this city to help you meet people, generate friendships. I'm in one that's called the Soft Black Girl Club. Like, y'all, there are so many different social clubs and groups because it's a genuine feeling, I think, just across the board that it's more difficult to make friends as you become adults. So definitely wherever you are located, start doing research. TikTok, Instagram, Google, Facebook groups, y'all, I feel like it's also like an underrated thing that people don't really utilize as best as they could. But a Facebook group that I found really helpful in Charlotte was called Things to Do in Charlotte. It is where you can go and post questions, things like, hey, who's a great braider that you recommend? Who's a good photographer? Where do you go if you like to this or that? That's actually how I was able to find information about the very first social club that I joined here. And y'all, that's how I've made all of my friends in Charlotte so far. Number two is I'm going to say your place of worship, regardless of what your religion is. Y'all start to volunteer, showing up to the different e-groups and Bible studies. You can also meet people who have like-minded goals and visions for their life. I think it's a very, very powerful and impactful way, especially if you feel like that's the area of your life where you want more accountability and guidance. Start there for sure as a very, very good option. Number three is going to be events, y'all. Events. Small talk goes such a long way. Such a long way. Even if you're starting off by like, hey, I love your hat. Where'd you get your hat from? Girl, I be shopping there too. But going to events, y'all, I met someone recently at an event I went to, just shouldering conversations. Sometimes people are showing up alone. Y'all, people, I think they said like loneliness is like at the highest I think it's ever been, especially in the US. Y'all, just talk to somebody, just say something, just say hi and pause for a second. That's usually to be like an indicator, like, oh, hey, you want to talk? How did you find out about this event? Starting off that way, I felt like it's super, super cool, a lighthearted way to start meeting people. Number four I'm going to suggest is fitness classes, y'all. So I'm going to tell you right now, for me, it is so much easier for me to make friends than it is dating, and I'm trying to apply some of these same methods to the dating, you know, scene or whatever. But y'all, I went to try a more formal Pilates class. The girl that was in front of me, I heard her giving her phone number to check in, and it was the area code of my hometown. So I was like, wait a minute, are you from Richmond? Did you live there? Did you go to college there? Y'all, we striked up a conversation. The class was over. We were getting ready to leave, and I said, hey, do you mind if I get your contact information? I just moved here. I'm looking for friends, and I'm trying to work out. Is it okay if I let you know what other fitness classes and things are going on? Y'all, she was so sweet, gave me her phone number. We went and did an aerial fitness class together, and we still keep in contact. Like, that simple. I know it feels weird, but the worst they can say is no. And then you just move on. Okay, so another class that I would suggest, y'all, is Charlotte has skill pop classes. Those are things that I'm going to be getting into more this year, where you can go and do like a floral design course. You can do like photography courses. They have a class I really want to try where you learn how to develop photos. Those are perfect environments to find common things that you enjoy with other people, to start bonding and having small conversation. Because you just never know, y'all. Sometimes people feel so awkward, and myself to be included, even with like my job now and going back in person after being remote for 4 years. I mean, I'm hybrid. I'm not fully in the office, but I'm still there 2 days a week. Was like, yo, what happened to my conversational skills? You know, especially in that work environment where you're like, oh, I don't know who to trust yet. Who can I, talk to or shouldn't talk to? And I feel like COVID kind of did everybody a really, really big disservice, because it removed us from being so social. So definitely try some of those classes where you can also learn things and have fun and meet people who like to do the same types of things that you do. Okay, the next one, after just talking about jobs, would be networking events. So I know some people have very, very strong opinions about making friends at work and what that looks like. I definitely think you very much start out very small talky. It's definitely a relationship you build over time. However, all of my friends I made in the DC area and all of my closest friends today, I met at work. From when I was working at TSA, 2 of them I met. We were in the same training classes and just talking about that process and laughing and joking, find out where everybody lives, what area, turned into like, you want to go grab a bite to eat after work. And they're like some of my dearest friends. And even moving into the consulting space, I know it sounds kind of bad, kind of bonded over like work trauma. And everybody was just, I don't know, we just could have easy conversation, and it just grew into develop into really, really good friendships. So I definitely tell you to go about it in a way that makes you feel comfortable, but don't always discount it, y'all. We need community. We need friendships. It's really, really important. But take it with a grain of salt. I know every work environment is different. When it's like, maybe not. But even going to networking events and finding other people who you don't necessarily work with, but might work in a different industry or in a different company, and be able to create bonds that way as well. Volunteering. So one of the things that I'm planning to get into within the next year and a half in Charlotte is to get back into volunteering as well as mentorship. Volunteering, finding different places to go to, help out with different shelters, feeding the homeless, just an array of different areas where you can volunteer. And again, meet other people who have the similar interests as you. It's something I feel very, very passionate about, and it's a good place to meet people. Start with small talk about what you're doing with the volunteer activity. Another one is happy hours, y'all. Sometimes when you just get off of work and it could have been a terrible day or a good day, you just need to, relax for a second. People are sometimes in a really good mood to talk a little bit, even if it's about their day, just joking about like, ooh, today was a day, how was your day? Just, you gotta push yourself out there. And one of the common things I feel like is that people don't want to leave their houses. I understand outside is expensive and can be expensive, but y'all, trying to make friends while you're just in the house all the time it's not going to be very beneficial to you. It's just easier to fill out people's vibes in person. However, rolling into the next the next option, y'all, is Bumble Friends. I know how I personally feel about some of these dating sites, y'all, but there's also Bumble Friends where you can, you know, if you're very, very introverted and it makes you super, super nervous, you have a lot of anxiety about going outside, that could be an option for you. But again, you have to be able to meet up with the person and fill them out a little bit. But if you prefer to start that way, that's also an option for you. Personally, I like to feel people's vibes out in person. You know, I like to get them, because, you know, text messages read one way, in-person conversations read another. But if you're super introverted, again, I definitely recommend that you can start there. And lastly, y'all, I'm gonna leave you with the self-check. Sometimes you are the problem. Not all the time, but sometimes you need to reevaluate yourself and ask yourself if you're really and truly being a good friend yourself. Because sometimes people just want people to hang out with, but they don't always want to show up. And a part about being a good friend is showing up even when it's not convenient for you, okay? It's not just just hang out and have fun with me. No, you're building genuine relationships with people. You have to show up. It's not always going to be good times. It's not always going to be popping bottles in the club. You also need to be a shoulder for people to cry on, and vice versa. So if you're not in a place, in a position in your life where you're ready for that, then maybe the happy hours and just a good time type of friend is for you. But if you're looking for a genuine community, you have to be in a position in your life where you're ready to give what you want to receive. So any questions that you have, let me know. I will have a host of social clubs and information pertaining to Charlotte specifically. But if you live in another area, definitely let me know if you need a little bit more guidance. I will say that it is easier to me to make friends in melting pot cities like the DMV area, where people are moving from all over the US and other countries really for jobs, as well as Charlotte. A lot of people are moving here, Atlanta, things like that. I do think sometimes it can be a little bit more difficult where you're not in transplant cities, but it doesn't mean that it's impossible. So try these tips out. Let me know your thoughts, your questions, and I'll catch y'all in another video. Bye.